On behalf of the Whitewater Art Alliance, we're grateful to have Peter come with his art to the Cultural Arts Center. I have been drawn to Peter's work for years. I think it's a great opportunity for Whitewater Art Alliance to have the opportunity to see watercolor in a whole different perspective. I'm drawn to the watercolor because it's amazingly complex, it's amazingly dynamic, it shows a heck of a lot of passion in what's being done. I think the community is going to value a lot from seeing this show. It's a very professional, contributes a lot to the creative imaging of artists. It offers a lot of variety to the Cultural Arts Center, and we enjoy having it here, and we expect to see Peter here again.
My name is Peter Jablokow. I was an illustrator for a long time. I'm happy doing what I want, because it was 25 years of doing what somebody else wanted. You know, a lot of people have hobbies that are very tedious, and they find it comforting, I think, because there's a certain comfort in the tediousness for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't spend this much time. There's some feeling you want in there, and you don't even know what that is. It's kind of hard to figure out. So sometimes very simple spot in the corner might take me 3 days of trying stuff till I come up with something. But it's very exciting when I do, and then it's my own because I figured it out. There's a translucency to it and a back and forth that's, you can never quite cover anything up, but you can take a knife to it and you can make a real mess of it, and the subjects I pick have a lot of mess in them. So it actually kind of looks better if I screw it up a few times sometimes. I find, you know, I do some teaching, and the students that go home and they paint and they come back, they really get better quickly. I mean, that's the one thing I see is the people that they go, oh, I wish I could do this and that, but then the people they sit down and they start working, they're excited and start working, they get better very quickly. I like to figure it out on my own and then maybe get a critique from somebody. I don't want to get an idea from somebody else, I want to figure it out and then maybe get feedback after. Well, these first two are just panoramic photos on my camera because they're really tight spaces. This is a dredge that sank up in the UP, the Keweenaw Peninsula, and it's sank in the water in the 50s. It's kind of at an angle, and we go up there in winter to ski. It's real tight in there, so the only way I could see is to get the panorama, and it turned out kind of cool. It's hard to get like the horizon to work. You keep trying to flatten things out because your brain wants it straight. And I like doing the snow. It's something new. For me, it's fine work. There's a lot of footprints and everything. And then this is the same kind of, it's a little too tight. People say it looks pretty scary, but it was a real tight space and I wanted to get some sense of something. This again is up in the UP. This is Houghton, Michigan. Houghton's in the background. I think this is Hancock here, and then on the water there's this big old smelter that's falling apart. I thought that was really neat. And they got their main bridge. The only way across is over there. But I just masked everything out except the stone of the building and just threw a bunch of paint at it, and then took the mask off and everything else is snow. This one's Illinois Train Museum. They have a couple of rows of engines outside, and like I had said earlier, I always put the camera on the ground and look up and see what I find. Actually, I'm wrong. This is in Ogden, Utah, out front of the train station. You know, it's just like a black thing, a train, and I'm always afraid that'll be boring, so I'm just throw a bunch of colors in there. That's about as far as I think. If it's light from the top, it's bluer. If it's reflecting off the ground, it's warmer. That's about as far as I got, thinking about what color to use. This one is Probably the painting people like the most. I try to keep doing another painting that the people like the most as well, but it doesn't work that way. But this is just south of Chicago along 55, along the Stevenson Expressway. And it's got these big gears that are real massive. I like the massive feel, and the whole thing rolls back when the bridge opens. And this probably is the first painting I really started. I just masked the sky and started throwing things, and it worked out well. Sometimes I try to redo it on another painting, it doesn't work as well. This is right near, this up in the UP again. These two are in Iceland, in the shipping yard in Reykjavik, like late at night, like 11 o'clock at night. And they didn't really stop me from going in there, so I went in there, and this thing's huge, and I just thought that I really liked that view of that ship. This again is in the UP, up near Hancock and Houghton, inside a stamp mill. It's just a mess in there. This one's Illinois Train Museum. Now that's a perfect example of putting the camera on the ground and looking up. And this is one I mentioned earlier. There can be parts of painting that take forever to figure out. And I had a hole here that my eye got lost in. And I eventually figured out to put the pipe in there. And then that kind of pointed your eye back in. It took me 3 days to figure it out. This is just south of Chicago also, with the Skyway in the back, going to Indiana. It's so complicated. I love how complicated it is. It drives most people nuts. Luckily, I have this to maybe calm it down a little. That bridge, this is another bridge nearby, south side of Chicago, with just had so many parts coming out of it. It's just a mess. I like a mess. These are projectors I have in my house, old from the 30s. I'm always looking, I set them up and I put the camera everywhere. It always ends up being low, so they look huge. They look like office buildings or something. That's Houghton, Michigan. I did that in a John Salmon workshop. This is that bridge with the big wheels we saw earlier. It's the same bridge, a little further away. And this is Iceland. We went a few weeks. There's all this beautiful scenery, but they also had a crashed plane, so I painted that. This is again this is in Hancock, Michigan, in the Quincy mine, but I did one painting smaller, and then this is the first full-size painting I ever did when I started painting in Peggy McNamara's class 10 years ago. I still like it. This was a commission, a fire truck. When they asked for a commission of a fire truck, I was a little nervous, but they gave me this reference, which was actually pretty nice. Here again, I made something look bigger than it is, the waffle iron. Luckily, it was pretty beat up, so that made it more interesting. South, this Skyway Bridge to Chicago. We've seen a couple paintings of this already, but you can't tell it's the same bridge. This is one of my favorite ones, just the color and the quiet of the sky. And then there's a lot of noise here and busyness here, but then there's a lot of quiet around, which I often just tend to make it noisy everywhere. So I like that I was able to do that in this one. That's the UP again, up near Calumet, Michigan. This is one of the few I didn't actually take the picture, but I loved the picture, so I painted that train. This is that same dredge from earlier. And this is one from travel. That's in Norway, Lofoten Islands in Norway. Just the whole scene, that's one of the most amazing places I've been to. Up in north of the Arctic Circle in Norway. Sun never set. This one, the sienna here, I just took a brush and threw it in there. And wherever the paper was white, I painted it the blue. And then you put a little shadow in there. That was kind of fun. This is right on the river, downtown Chicago, the bridge that's always up. And this again is Calumet, Michigan. It's one of the first paintings I did. You'll never break me. I also have work in a 5th Street gallery in Calumet, Michigan, where a lot of these pieces are from. My website is peterillustrator.com, much easier to remember than peterjablokow.com. Whenever I do a painting, I put it up there, all the artwork here, and then I have more illustrative stuff I do, some older things I've done. I do have a page with prints for sale.
Well, thank you for all visiting us on this video. And we would like to invite any and all of you to become members of the Whitewater Art Alliance. It has a lot to offer in terms of workshops, classes, shows. The community itself is very happy that the Alliance is here. If you wish to join the Art Alliance, it's quite simple. You can either do it on the internet or you could do it in person. The Art Alliance does have a quarterly catalog. This is not only an invitation for artists, it's also an invitation for viewers who would like to have a little bit more variety in their life. The artists here are amazing and they offer a lot of variety. The Art Alliance is also looking for contributions because, you know, it takes money to support an organization that's non-for-profit. So you can join us on social media. Well, once again, hope to see you soon.